welcome to the NFT MetaJungle. I am Emma, aka Nifty Meta Girl, and really excited for another episode of our podcast. In our last episode, we mentioned that I'd be joining you again to talk more about editions, which have been really popular in the space over the last few months. And I have actually really enjoyed getting to see the art that's been created and hear the conversations that have taken place in this particular subject, and also, of course, collect many of them along the way. With editions, we've seen all different interpretations of this, some innovative ways of using editions, and also from starting a collector base or reaching out to more people in the community to being able to connect with additional artists, additional collectors, be able to share work that might be out of your normal genre, but also some really cool ways of using those editions for innovation and for forward thinking related to other collections. So I thought today I would share with you some of the editions that I have collected over the last few months that have some unique attributes to them, unique uses to them. You also are welcome to visit my wallet if you'd like. I have over 120 editions collected over the last few months, so there's a lot of really fun ones to explore, but I wanted to highlight a few today that were some common uses, but also some unique ones for what we've seen in the space. So the first one I wanted to talk about was, and this relates a lot to the traditional art world as well, but one of the reasons for editions is for artists that gain notoriety or gain some attention for their pieces. They start to build their collector base and their pieces actually increase in value that may price out some collectors. Oftentimes then limited editions are released at a lower price point, and we have seen that some within the space as well. And two of the artists that I have collected editions from that would fall into that category would be Billy D, who is a street artist that has come into the space and is really diligent about limiting the supply of his one-of-one pieces, and also did the same with his edition piece, but he released a beautiful nighttime street scene called Almost Forgot What It Feels Like, and it's a 140-piece edition. So with being an artist that does have a strong follower base and demand for his work, that was something that allowed him to be able to release a larger edition set and still have the response for it. But it is a beautiful piece. Another artist that falls in this category is known on Twitter as Illkoncept, but his name is Mike Sputz, and he also is a street photographer from New York, and his edition is called A New York Moment, a really cool street scene, and really happy to have it in my collection as well, and he would fall in that same category as well. So that we have seen some influence from the traditional art world in the NFT edition space, so that's been an interesting evolution to follow, which makes a lot of sense and is consistent with what we see both in the traditional art world and the NFT space. And so the thought process for me is over time, as these artists continue to develop both in the traditional art world and the NFT space, seeing these, holding these editions and seeing the value potentially increase over time can be quite interesting. But both are beautiful pieces on their own, and I'm really happy to have both of them in my collection. And another thing that we have seen in this space is typically an edition was actually minted onto OpenSea. That was the main platform for editions in the NFT space. However, Silica developed the ability to be able to mint editions on their platform as well. And this actually started with Subodh Shetty. He was the first photographer to release editions onto the platform. And with his first series, which was called Trailblazer, his first edition onto the Silica platform called Trailblazer, they also included a really fun function that Silica offers, which is called a gotcha. And this is the ability to be able to mint and collect a piece without knowing exactly which piece you're going to end up with. So you start the transaction. When the transaction is complete, you see which image you actually have collected. And this has been used for different collectives over the last last few months and really adds a fun gamification element to the process. And so this has added a really fun element to this particular edition because there were 35 editions and a one-of-one mixed into the batch. And so as you minted, you didn't know if you were going to be getting an edition or you would end up with a one-of-one. So that really encouraged the possibility of being able to collect more than one image to see if you were going to be the one to mint the one-of-one opposed to an edition. So that was really fun to participate. If memory serves right, this sold out in anywhere between 90 seconds, somewhere right around a minute and a half. So, which was really exciting for edition and hit a lot of key points that we were seeing with keeping an edition size small, building the demand for your edition, and having a quick sellout. So that was really, really fun to participate in. Subodh also released another one about 100 days later that also used the gotcha gamification through Silica. And this actually included two different images, and so when you minted, you didn't know which of the two images you're going to get, but there was an incentive that if you actually minted both images, you would be rewarded with another one-of-one, an independent, unique one-of-one image that still fit the curation of the edition sets. And so with this, there was an ICU, which is a cheetah in a tree, which is a great image, and then also we is better than me, which is a great image of two cheetahs together. And so that was a really fun experience again. This time it also sold out within under, I think it was 120 seconds for this particular edition set. So still super quick demand. And then also saw some sales on secondary, which was really great as well. So that has been a fun development in editions. And so watching for those on the Silica platform, and if you see a gotcha, you'll know a little bit more of what to expect. And another opportunity that I've had, which has been really interesting, is the opportunity to work with Hendro, which you can find on Twitter at Hendro Fine Art. And this is the opportunity to work with him to curate an edition bundle. And Hendro's art is beautiful. He's a fine art wildlife photographer, and I've been a fan of his work for quite some time. So when he reached out and asked if I would want to be involved with him on this process, it was a big honor. And so it was fun to work with him, and by curating, we worked on the images, talked about the different opportunities, and instead of actually starting with one edition, we came to the conclusion that we would do a bundle of 3 curated pieces, which have similar backgrounds and also feature birds. And Hendro knows so much about the subjects in his images that he creates a beautiful description of each of these images. And I was able to add comments in the description as well as the curator. So it's been a really great experience. And in addition to the bundle of 3 editions, you also, when you collect this bundle, you get banner options, banner images included. So there's 4 unique banner images accompanying the 3 beautiful bird editions. And so that's been a really, really fun experience. But this is something that's been unique to the space. We've seen this done a few times in collectives where a collector comes on board as a curator to help with the process and develops this partnership. And this, I believe, is the first time it's happened with an edition. So I've been excited to participate with Hendro on this experience. It also gave me a great point of view for what artists, the process that they go through as they're developing their artwork and minting their artwork. So it's been really great to kind of see it from another viewpoint, and a big honor to be able to participate with Hendro on this project. So that's been going well. We did a bundle of 7 images, and there's an edition of 25, so it's been received pretty well throughout the space so far, and have really enjoyed that process. But this is another way of being able to, be innovative, think outside the box, and do something a little bit different. And it'll be interesting to see as we move through the space if there's other collectors that are also participating and artists in this way. But I always appreciate the opportunity to be able to have artists and collectors working towards a common goal together. So I appreciate that opportunity, Hendro, and that has been the pieces are beautiful, and it's been a great experience. And another collection that I've participated in recently is actually developed by Kemp. And Hans is known in this space for his initial one-of-one collection called Bikes of Burden, which are really amazing images taken that feature different people carrying different things on bikes as transportation, and really opened up to this experience in different parts of Asia. And this collection was actually minted on July 31st of 2021. And so to celebrate the anniversary of his one-of-one collection, he actually presented a bundle of images that were done as editions. And so there's 12 editions within the bundle, and they all feature a different image that was also part of the original collection that was actually part of a book, a photo book. And so by collecting the bundle, you participated in the 12 editions. Each are really amazing images, so it's been really fun to have those added to my collection. But in addition to collecting the bundle, you also received a one-of-one from another collection of Hans. And this collection is called Work, Play, Eat, Pray. And it is a collection of images from his travels in Asia. And so the way that this process works is a celebration for the 1 year of Bikes of Burden. You collect the bundle of 12 editions, and you get to pick a one-of-one from this particular collection for within that same cost, so for no additional cost, which is an amazing opportunity. I really have enjoyed going through Work, Play, Eat, and Pray because the images are so amazing from all different parts of Asia, but also the descriptions that Hans includes. You really feel like you have explored this area with him, and you can see his appreciation for the area so much and the people that he's interacted with and his experiences. So it's very much like a travel journal that you're exploring. And the one-of-one that I picked out was Before the Descent, which is a really interesting image with coal miners waiting for their shift in China. And there's a very interesting mural behind them showing miners being very happy, and it's a propaganda mural. And Hans includes that while he was there taking these images, he didn't ask for permission. He just went up and was capturing the moment when he had the opportunity. And a supervisor came up and told him that he couldn't be photographing there, and said they belong to the mine, talking about the miners that he was photographing. So it's really interesting to have that moment in time captured. And again, this was a great collection. So if you're interested in Hans' work, this is a really interesting way to be introduced both to the Bikes of Burden collection and also to his Work, Play, Eat, and Pray collection too. So definitely a cool one to check out and a great way of being able to participate in his collections. And another thing that we've seen within this space is the opportunity to be able to collect from artists that we appreciate very much, but also the way of being able to connect by gifting art. And I actually participated with Harini, which is Taking Shot on Twitter, and she created this beautiful piece called Mommy's Got Your Back. And Harini is a fine art flower photographer, and she's also active within the MetaJungle community, and is someone she's a mother herself. And this image is actually one that was featured in a photo contest and won awards, but it's just a beautiful, beautiful image, and it's very representative of what I know of Harini as a person and in the space. And as our listeners know, our dear sweet boss mom 99, Jaden, is expecting, and she and Harini actually have grown a friendship over the time. So it was really awesome to be able to collect this edition and gift it to Jaden, just because of their connection, but also the significance behind the image. So it's really cool to see those relationships grow within the NFT space, and be able to use art as a way of signifying and solidifying those relationships. So this was a beautiful piece and has some emotional significance for me. So I actually have one of these editions in my collection, and it was really fun to be able to gift that to Jaden as well. So that's been fun to see art being used in that way as well throughout the edition series. And another use of editions that we have seen throughout the last several months has been to commemorate different cultural significant events. And so with an edition, it's something that has been interesting, that you can take an image captured at a particular time, mint it, and document that occurrence for that point forward. So some have limited the edition size and been able to distribute it to people that participated. Others have used the edition size in different ways to open it up to be able to connect with a broader group. And there's all kinds of mechanics that have been included in with those as well. But two examples of that, of pieces that I've collected. One is Dreamwalker by Mike Schmidt, and this is a piece that he took during a photo walk during NFT NYC. And so it was significant for him to commemorate that experience of having all these photographers in New York at one time and all, meeting in real life, people that you know from Twitter, from the NFT space, to actually make those connections and participate in an opportunity to capture photography throughout New York. And this was an image that meant a lot to him, and one that he captured during that particular event. And so that commemorates his experience in connecting with others for the 2022 NFT NYC. And this is something that he plans to do each year to commemorate that particular experience. So it's interesting as time goes by to look back and see these images that will be significant for moments in time in our NFT journey. And another one of these was actually a free drop provided by Barry Sutton. And this was significant for him in his NFT journey. The description tells the story of reaching out to a prominent journalist about the beginning of his NFT journey related to his signature collection at this point, which is 96 Degrees in the Shade. And he was wanting to share his experience and success that he had found in the NFT space related to his photography. And he sent an email to a journalist that he was familiar with in the space. And his reply back from that journalist was, "Hello, Barry. The idea of NFTs make me sick." There, I said it sincerely with his name. And for celebrating the 1-year anniversary of 96 Degrees in the Shade, not only did the collection hit an all-time collection amount of 100 ETH, but this was a piece that Barry minted to commemorate that experience, and also for the cultural relevance. So it's fun to have that edition in my collection as we see as the space progress, and it will be something to look back on over the years, and fun to have minted to the blockchain. And we are also seeing some artists that are using editions in different ways for future opportunities for their collectors. So there's been lots of different iterations of this over time. One artist in particular that comes to mind is Marco Grassi, who is a well-known landscape photographer, and his works are very beautiful. But he did a particular project where he did a free mint, and as you minted pieces, you didn't know which collection size or which edition size you were going to be getting. So it was a blind free mint. You were required to pay gas, but as you minted the images and the collections minted out, you discovered which image you received and also what edition size you received. And so obviously with some having lesser quantity than others, there would be some that would have a higher value than others as time goes on. And so that was a really fun one to participate in. I ended up minting 2 of these free editions. One is Wilderness to the Blockchain number 11, which is Fairy Tale Bliss. And then the other is Wilderness to the Blockchain number 16, Red Valley. Both are really beautiful images. and with different collection sizes. But it'll be fun to see as time goes by how Marco uses these with his collectors to incentivize or to be able to have other offerings for his collectors as time goes by. And again, this is something we've seen a lot with different artists. Some are including burn mechanisms. Some are building communities with their collector group in DM groups on Twitter to be able to build a base and have a communication with those collectors and those supporters as time goes on. That's something I've experienced with several editions that I have collected, is creating a community of supporters around that artist that then pull into a chat group that you receive, information for future drops coming up, or different information relevant to that artist journey. So it's been an interesting way of being able to really identify those supporters. Some have created Discord communities around the supporters for their editions to be able to help grow with their journey. So that's been a strong mechanism for the editions. And in the relation to free mints, there's one that I've been watching that I'm quite curious about. The artist's name is Guido and has been making a lot of movement within the space. And he's someone, his work is selling for 50 ETH plus regularly for one-of-ones. But quite some time ago, several months ago, he actually did a free mint called Sicilian Kiss. And this was a free open mint. Thousands of copies were minted in a short amount of time. I believe the window was 24-hour window. And that's something that he keeps talking about, keeps in conversation about, and an interesting mechanism that he's actually released recently is making those editions actually a form of currency for other artwork that he's releasing. So yes, there is a large supply of the Sicilian Kiss. However, as he's adding in different mechanisms, it's actually adding value to the Sicilian Kiss because they're going to be able to be used for obtaining new artwork that he's doing. So recently he mentioned that he is releasing a new edition, and to obtain the new edition, you can burn 15 Sicilian Kiss editions. So it's really interesting to see how artists are using this and innovating the edition opportunity, even free editions, how they're building value for those within their own ecosystem. So I'm really excited to see how artists are taking these for the future and even editions that they've released, and adding added value for their supporters, being able to build those connections and seeing how that helps them with their journey. And so again, editions have been something that have been very prevalent over the last few months. It's been a great learning opportunity. We've held several spaces with conversation about editions. We've also held several AMAs within the MetaJungle Discord, answering questions about common practices or best practices with editions. So if anyone has questions about that, we'll link those previous episodes in the comments section so you have reference to those. But it has been really fun to see the evolution. From the beginning of editions, it was common to see really large quantities, meaning 50 to 100 pieces. But over time, now it's becoming more and more common to see editions of 10 to 15 pieces, with the understanding that and want to actually see those, create the demand to see those images sell out quickly. And it's been something that, again, has helped reach a broader collector base and also involve those that have lower capital to invest, the opportunity to collect from artists that they are fans of in the space. So it's been very interesting and has been fun also to see that evolution, and I look forward to seeing the further innovation in the space in relation to editions and how those can tie into collecting one-of-ones and being able to be introduced to new artists. So I hope you enjoyed that summary of some of the editions that I have collected over the last few months. Again, with the MetaJungle community, we are very active with providing opportunities to learn and grow together. Please join us in Discord, MetaJungle Discord community. We hold our workshops regularly and also AMA sessions regularly. So if you're looking for honest feedback for creating NFT work, The Artist Feedback AMA is an awesome opportunity. These are regularly on Thursdays. Also, if you're a collector wanting to learn about the photography space, it's a great opportunity to come and learn together as we talk about curating NFT collections and key points for creating successful NFT collections. We also hold Twitter spaces regularly. We have our chat and share space typically on Mondays. We also have our Navigating NFT space with Sarah Lindsay on Fridays, where we talk about different topics related to navigating the space. And then we also are starting a Building Your Brand in a Twitter space with Subodh Shetty and Mike Schmidt on Sundays. So lots of opportunities to connect and grow together. And another exciting update for the MetaJungle community is we are going to be releasing a full suite of tools for creators and collectors to manage their NFT portfolios. And this should be coming out in the next few weeks. I'm super excited about this because I actually was using the suite today, and it is such an effective way of being able to manage your NFT portfolio and has lots of other exciting elements to it. And I think it is going to improve everyone's experience so much. So I'm super excited for that release, and there'll be lots more information coming about that as well. So thank you for joining us today for this update on my collection and also some of the updates for the MetaJungle community. And I look forward to joining you soon to talk more about some of the other opportunities within the NFT space, to connect with some other artists being onboarded into the space and other communities that are helping to advance both the opportunity for artists and collectors in the NFT space. So thank you as always for joining me, and I look forward to next time.